Hey all, Jeff, no Zoom Mondays. Hey, I'm out here by the Capitol, hanging out today, enjoying some free time. I've got some peanuts. I'm going to feed some squirrels in a bit. I was asked a question recently about why I retired in 2021, and I wanted to take a second and highlight my top 5 reasons for doing so, maybe to help others get prepared for retirement or help them succeed in it. My 5 top reasons for retiring when I did. Number 1 was burnout. Number 2, FOMO, fear of missing out. Number 3, Zooming and feeling it. Number 4, my financial house finally got in order. And lastly, YOLO. You only live once. Okay, again, number 1 was I was burned out, definitely burned out. Look, before I jump into that, I do want to highlight that I truly loved the company I worked at for the last 26 plus years. I loved the people I worked with, and I love the products. They're going to continue to hit grand slams and do extremely well. I definitely have already started to miss them. But after 106 quarters of doing sales and sales management, it basically added up. The net of 50 to 60 hour weeks, forecast calls, one-on-ones, staff calls. When you manage a big team, those take time and energy, and all that's great. But it just added to. As the latter years came along, I started to get more and more robotic. At least that's the way I felt, numbing and pushing through it, obviously, and doing well at it, but just getting to more robotic feeling, and also, I guess, maybe in this world, more towards something called monochrome. I felt like I was becoming more and more monochrome. And so with that, the feeling of burnout was very, very real for me. I definitely know that I needed a change. For the last few years, I felt it, and here recently it became more and more prevalent, and basically made the decision and said, let's go. So that's number 1. Number 2 reason I retired in 2021, FOMO, fear of missing out. Look, if you're anything like me, my identity was tied to work. It was priority number 1, failure. It was not an option, it was going to be success. A lot of ego and pride in that, but that's absolutely my thoughts and what drove me for many, many years through my career. I had 2 things that kind of came up, though, that drove out the fear of missing out. One, like all of us, I'm sure we have bucket lists, and I added, built one and added to it. And a year ago or so, I started looking at that bucket list, going, what's next? And the bucket list never got shorter. It pretty much kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I wasn't focused on taking those down. And I know that didn't feel right for me. 2, more personal and heartfelt maybe, is I had a recent boss of mine, mentor, friend of mine pass away. He helped me in tremendously in life, both at work and outside. Dean Marfone, I posted about him. He recently was buried. God bless him and his family. But net is he worked 40-year career, worked hard, supporting his family, doing the right things. Went into retirement, looking for a long, enjoyable time. And unfortunately, within 6 months, he passed. He got sick. And really, quality of life started to fade right away, and then within 3 years, he passed away, and that's really unfortunate. But it was a trigger for me to say, "Hey, could that happen to me?" And the answer to that is absolutely, 1,000% could. I'm able today, and need to make sure I'm taking advantage of it. I do not want to miss out. Number 3, third reason, zooming and feeling it. Before I get into this too deep, as I like Zoom. I like the company, but specifically zooming as a verb. I like the idea. It's certainly as a world, we've been able to do a lot of things with Zoom, even with the pandemic. It'll allow for work from home in the future, telemedicine, a lot of great stuff. So don't get me wrong here. So with Zoom comes some new things, new dynamics that I was unaware of or didn't see because of the tool. What I realized as I was zooming, I was talking about all the calls and the hours in the week that we were working all at home in front of a camera. You're able to do things that you didn't do before and also see things that you might not have been aware of. So Zoom in my world was a blessing and a curse. First, the curse. When you look at yourself that long, you're bound to notice things that are changing. And so certainly I became very, very aware of changes in my face. I started seeing more gray hair. You can still see it today. I started seeing more lines and identification markers for me as a human being. So that happened. So Zoom allowed me to see this stuff live. I mean, I've always considered, and still do today, consider myself young at heart. I can climb mountains, and I'm lucky, I'm blessed, and thankful for this. I can surf, I love surfing, and I can run marathons. Hurt afterwards, but can do it. But with Zoom, it certainly showed me that I was, getting older, and I'm 56 today, feel 40 still. But I noticed the changes. The blessing of Zoom is just what I realized, that these things are true and that I am truly getting older and life is only so long. And so what do you want to do with that time, right? What do you want to do with the time left is very, very important. And so it helped drive me. This is one of the areas, so I'm zooming and I'm feeling the changes. On top of it, another trigger. About 6 months ago, I decided to go get my hearing checked. I started hearing some ringing. I thought it was, earwax in my canals, all that. Well, no, of course not. It's tinnitus, and it's not the end of the world. I got ringing in my ears, very low and faint. That's another trigger for me to say, boy, you're getting older, Jeff. Time to try something new, change the routine, and enjoy as much as you can some of what's left outside of work, specifically that routine. Go try some new things, live life differently. So that was my third reason. Number fourth reason I decided to retire in 2021. Financially, my financial house was in order. We all need dollars to do anything and everything. And in this case, I had two big events over the course of the last few years, if you will, that have transitioned me towards the ability to move forward on a dollar capital standpoint. Number one, I had a life event, a huge life event 6 or so years ago, ended up getting divorced. Luck, wouldn't wish that upon anybody. Net, that divorce, the obligations set in the divorce decree expired. They're finished, and that was about a year ago. So my financial picture brightened up. That was one of the big ones. As a side note on that, I would like to offer up, I was introduced immediately, forced into, if you will, through that process, into something called minimalism. You obviously have to lose a lot through that divorce process. So that minimalism, however, actually is a very healthy process. It was for me, I should say, and it helped me get to where I'm at today. And I want to offer up to anybody that this will be a future blog of what minimalism looks like for me, but not only in expenses, but material things and all the rest. It's a healthy attitude in my perspective, and again, a big trigger to how I got here today. The second big thing financially that happened, the market's done well over the last few years. I've always been a huge saver and investor. Gotten into it younger and earlier in life, and now I can't implore enough of how to do the same as soon as possible. Invest in the future, if you will. Invest in your future. So I was able to hit here recently the golden ticket, if you will, in regards to 25 times my expenses in what I have saved. So that was a trigger for me to say, okay, now I've got an opportunity to look at that next step, which is, in this case for me, retirement. Hi, number 5, YOLO. You only live once. We only go around this planet one time. what I was realizing, as I mentioned throughout the previous top 5 items, this world we live in today is always on, 24/7, 7 days a week. It's expected. Replying to customers, management, your sales teams, constantly, 7 days a week, nonstop. Solving problems always, never ended. That's stressful, drives anxiety, etc. I've recently maybe put into focus other business leaders, reading about them. A lot of them are taking time off, taking a break, doing something to recharge themselves, and then coming back. When they come back online, they are recharged, headed towards passion. They like what they've decided to do to give back to the world. And so that to me is YOLO in action for them. And so that seeing that with others gave me confidence that and perspective that it's okay to do something I want to try. And so at this point it's like as the 5th reason for me is like I only live one time, and I want to go. Let's go now. Okay, with those top 5 reasons, I did it. I made it real. Retired March 1st, 2021 was my first Monday without work that I had been doing for a lot of years. So, how did it feel? Well, look, Sundays before work week were always consuming for me mentally, draining, worried about what the week was going to entail, if I had to get, logistics to see a customer or get set up for management meetings, get ready for my staff calls, etc. There was none of that happened, which was awesome. The other thing is Monday morning I woke up, I was able to go for a run. I had no worries about what to say during my staff call, how to try to motivate the team. I had no Zoom calls. The other thing I noticed, I had set up a new digital calendar, and being in the high tech, as a high tech exec for so long, my calendar was double booked, and so it was interesting to see an empty calendar. I had absolutely nothing on that calendar that week. Talk about autonomy. Talk about being able to look and decide what you want to do next without repercussions. It felt very, 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 very good. So that was cool on that first Monday. It's been a couple months, so far so good. I have a lot of great things actually, and I plan on blogging and vlogging, and I'll share why in another video. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to share on why I'm going forward, what I'm going to do, what Beth and I, Miss Livewire, are going to do. So stay tuned. Hopefully it's intriguing to you to subscribe and see the adventures along the way. Net, we will be talking about our adventures, what we've run into. I'll be talking about the ups and downs of what I see in retirement, including expenses, what's driving my budget today versus in the past, the real expenses, real things I'm running into versus what we read about. So stay tuned for that. And then giving back, a bunch of stuff on giving back and service work, where I think that's a driving theme for me now that I have some extra time, is to make sure I'm giving back to the world and leaving it a better place. So that's it. Hopefully these blogs and the posts and vlogs are useful. Please subscribe. There'll be more coming as we make our adventures. And it's a wonderful day. I'm going to go feed more squirrels and see some of the nature and wildlife out here. You guys, peace out and bye for now.